Now we can look at the male reproductive system and the production and path of sperm. So we will start off with the production of sperm. Sperm are made in the testes. And here is a view inside the testes. If you look inside, there's all this coiled tube. This is seminiferous tubule. This is long coiled tube. And this is where sperm and testosterone are made. And it makes massive amounts of sperm. Here is an amazing number. A man can make about 2,000 sperm per second. So 1 Mississippi, there's 1 second, there's 2,000 sperm. That is an amazing production level, 2,000 in 1 second. So the seminiferous tubule is very long in order to make all that sperm. It's so long, in fact, that if you were to take it out and stretch it out straight, it would almost reach to the top of the St. Louis Arch. Once all those sperm are made, they have to be stored. This structure on the back of the testes, so it's right here, and here it is in this picture. Notice it's on the back of the testes. That is the epididymis. This is what stores the sperm. And they can be stored here for about 2 weeks. If the sperm aren't ejaculated within 2 weeks, then they just die and are reabsorbed by the body. Now we're ready to start looking at what happens during ejaculation. So at the time of ejaculation, the sperm are going to leave from the bottom of the epididymis here, and they're going to follow up this path. And here it is in our top picture. The sperm are going to come up like this. This is the vas deferens, or it's also sometimes called the ductus deferens. This is what transports the sperm during ejaculation. So they go up, they enter into the body. This is the urinary bladder. So notice it goes over the top of the bladder around to the back of the bladder. Then it's time to add fluids to the sperm in order to make semen. So semen is sperm plus fluids. So now once you get around to the back of the bladder there, we're going to add those fluids. So we have glands to do this. This gland is the seminal vesicle. It is going to add fructose, which is a sugar, and this gives the sperm energy so they can make ATP so they can swim. The sperm need a lot of energy to swim to the egg. It also adds prostaglandin. So remember when we talked about the cervix is closed? and you have to open it to let the sperm through. That's what prostaglandin does. And when a woman is pregnant and is full term and she's ready to go into labor, they say that having sex can help labor start. This is why, because the semen contains prostaglandin, which will stimulate the cervix to open, and that can help kickstart labor getting going. Also, this fluid has a high pH, because remember we talked about the vagina is acidic, so sperm would be killed by that acid. So it has a high pH to protect the sperm from the acid in the vagina. Then the next gland is the prostate. That's right here under the bladder. This is the one that tends to have problems as men get older, and it can cause problems with urination. It can become cancerous, but it does function in reproduction. So it adds to the semen seminal plasmin, this prevents urinary tract infections in men. It adds citric acid. This keeps the sperm healthy. And it adds PSA. This is an enzyme. This enzyme will make the semen thin and more liquidy. And this makes it easier for the sperm to swim. Then our third gland is right down here. This is the bulbal urethral gland. It secretes mucus, and this mucus cleans and lubricates the urethra. Okay, so we have green is the production and storage of sperm, purple is the path that they follow to get out during ejaculation, and blue here are the glands that are going to add substances in with the sperm to make semen. So if we go back to our path, the sperm are going to go through here. They're going to pass through that seminal vesicle where they're picking up the fluid. Then they come through here. This structure right here is the ejaculatory duct. So that's just part of the path that they follow. And the ejaculatory duct then meets up to this part, which is the urethra. And notice the urethra also comes from the bladder. So the ejaculatory duct is what connects into the urethra. So in men, the urethra has two jobs. It transports the semen and it drains the bladder. Now, it cannot do both at the same time, but it does do both jobs. And remember, in women, the urethra is completely separate. It only drains the bladder, and you have the vagina for transporting reproductive materials. When it comes to making sperm, temperature is very important. Have you ever heard about, like, if a couple's trying to conceive, the man should wear boxers, not briefs? Because briefs hold the testes too close to the body and make them too hot. It's important that they're able to cool off. Sperm must be made at a few degrees lower than body temperature. In fact, this is why the testes are outside the body, so they can be cooler. But at the same time, you don't want them to get too cold either. You have to have just the right temperature. So there are a couple of muscles that are responsible for this. Here is the cremaster muscle, and here is the dartos muscle. So these are muscles that can pull the testes close to the body when they need to be warmed up, or they can let the testes hang away from the body to cool down. So these muscles are very important at keeping that right temperature so that healthy sperm can be made. If the temperature is not right, either the sperm won't be healthy or they won't be made at all. So poor temperature control can actually make a man infertile.
It was my fault. I told her the wrong door.
I was supposed to see her. She wasn't supposed to see me.
So what?
Well, ordinarily, I wouldn't mind. But,
But what?
well, I just got back from swimming in the pool. And the water was cold.
You mean shrinkage?
Yes! Significant shrinkage.
So you feel you were shortchanged?
Yes. I mean, if she thinks that's me, she's under a complete misapprehension. That was not me, Jerry. That was not me.
So what's the difference?
Well, what if she discusses it with Jane?
Oh, she's not gonna tell Jane.
How do you know?
Women aren't like us.
They're worse. They're much worse than us. They talk about everything. Couldn't you at least tell her about the shrinkage factor?
No, I'm not gonna tell her about your shrinkage. Besides, I think women know about shrinkage.
How do women know about shrinkage?
Isn't it common knowledge?
Oh. Elaine!
Hey,
Elaine! Do women know about shrinkage?
What do you mean, like laundry?
No.
like when a man goes swimming afterwards?
It shrinks?
Like a frightened turtle.
Why does it shrink?
It just does.
I don't know how you guys walk around with those things.